Mark Carney's visit to a steel plant in Hamilton was an absolute mess in at least 3 different ways. I'm going to break it down for you today. Now, did you see this scene from the next woke Ghostbusters reboot? Just kidding. It's a clip of Mark Carney visiting a steel mill in Hamilton, Ontario last week.
We are ready to sit down with the Americans, with the U.S. government. I'm ready to sit down with President Trump at the appropriate time under a position where there's respect for Canadian sovereignty, and we're working for a common approach, a much more comprehensive approach for trade. We're all going to be better off. Workers here in Canada, which is our concern, workers in America, which is his concern. We are all going to be better off when the greatest economic and security partnership in the world is renewed, relaunched. That's possible. You have a new government, but the same commitment, and that commitment is built rock solid on the commitment you have all made here at Dofasco.
Let's get this straight. Mark Carney, the globalist bankster turned liberal darling, next prime minister of our great dominion, now wants you to believe he's a champion of industry and the working class. Mark Carney showed up at ArcelorMittal Dofasco in Hamilton for a tightly controlled, media-free photo op where he strutted around like a man who's never seen steel, or work before for that matter. And judging by his past statements, he might actually believe that steel is just some relic of a bygone era. You see, just weeks ago, Carney smugly declared that people don't even use steel anymore. Steel, the backbone of our entire modern society, the foundation of our homes, our bridges, our buildings, our cars, our machinery, our appliances. According to Mark Carney, we don't use it anymore. And he promised his own climate tariffs on the very industry he now claims to defend against Trump's trade ones.
Secondly, what we're going to do is make sure not that the government pays, not that we as taxpayers pay, but the large polluters pay. And so what happens...
But does that not ultimately trickle down?
No, because what the big companies are producing, by and large, are not products that we are consuming. There's some element of that, but by and large, you know, a steel company, how much steel are you using these days, Todd? I mean, not as much we used to.
This all reminds me of a joke my dad used to tell. That man is so fancy, he thinks manual labor is the name of his Mexican gardener. But that's the level of detachment we're dealing with here. And yet, here's Mark Carney pretending to be a champion of the very industry he's working overtime to destroy with climate taxes. And the steel company Carney chose for his little PR stunt just happens to be one of the biggest beneficiaries of Trudeau's corporate welfare slush fund, the so-called Net Zero Accelerator Initiative. That's a fancy way of saying the taxpayer-funded bailout for the liberal-friendly companies willing to play along with the green grift. In case you missed it, ArcelorMittal is raking in $1.765 billion from Trudeau's government, now Carney's government, to decarbonize its operations. That's billion with a B, with $40 million to start. But this isn't about making industry cleaner or more competitive. It's about funneling your money into pet projects that let the liberals pretend they're saving the planet, meeting globalist Paris Accord targets, while they cripple the economy and make life more expensive, houses and cars out of reach for the rest of us. And that steel company, by the way, well, it's already missed its green targets. And then there's this. Carney's little campaign stop was completely sealed off from the media. Journalists weren't allowed to ask questions or even have an audio feed as Carney interacted with steel workers. They were probably trying to avoid another moment like this one when Trudeau met with steel workers at Algoma.
To thank you for your hard work.
I can bring some for my kids here.
Okay. The 25% tariffs we just brought in on Chinese steel is going to help you out.
That's going to keep my job,
yeah.
What about the 40% taxes I'm paying, and I don't have a doctor?
The $400 million that we invested in the electric car means you're going to have a job for
I think you're only here for another year. We won't see you around probably another year.
Well, that's what elections are for.
That's right.
And I look forward to everyone exercising the right to vote.
Yep.
Basic choice. We're going to invest in you and your job.
I don't believe you for a second.
Dental care? Do you know anyone who got dental care?
Yeah, I pay for it myself.
Okay.
We're like 3 years
Does he have
behind.
a job and coverage?
Yeah,
but we
four
got
people in my
seniors.
family.
We've got
Every time we
seniors.
go for a dental visit, it's costing me about $50 in my pocket per person.
Okay.
Why? I have a good job. You're not really doing anything for us, Justin.
Well, actually, we just invested, so 500,000 people haven't been to the dentist.
Yeah.
Got to go to the dentist over the past few
Probably
months.
like my neighbor that doesn't go to work because she's lazy.
Well,
She
you know
just
what?
doesn't go to work. She lives the same
Most
life I do.
Canadians try to stick up for each other, and that's what we're going to keep doing.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
luck and take care of your family,
No,
sir.
no, I'm good. Thank you.
All right.
Have a nice day.
Have a good day, sir. All right.
The legacy press isn't telling the truth about Team Canada Carney and his attacks on the very industry he now pretends to defend. They're happy to parrot the Liberal line, cheer on the green grift, and ignore the fact that the same man propping up subsidized steel is also working to tax the industry into oblivion. It's a bit of a con job, plain and simple. And let's be completely real, this isn't about helping steel workers. It never is. This is about pushing an agenda that punishes industry with higher taxes, shovels cash into politically connected corporations, and leaves everyday Canadians with higher prices. That's the Liberal way. Make life more expensive, call it progress, and silence anyone who dares to question it. Well, we're questioning it. And come election time, so will Canadians. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. To learn the things about the man selected to be the next Prime Minister of Canada that the mainstream media refuses to report on, go to thecarneyfiles.com.